All right, let's jump right in. In the Bible's final book, Revelation, you'll find some of the most powerful and honestly mysterious titles for Jesus Christ. They paint this picture of a king, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. So today, we're going to decode the ancient mystery of the lion and the root.
So picture this. The scene opens in Revelation chapter 5, and there's this cosmic crisis unfolding. There's a scroll sealed up tight with 7 seals, and it literally holds the destiny of all creation. But here's the problem. No one, not in heaven, not on earth, not anywhere, is found worthy to break the seals and open this thing. You can just feel the tension, right? The entire universe is just waiting in despair.
And then, right when it feels like all hope is lost, one of the elders speaks up. He says, "Don't weep." And he announces that someone has prevailed. Someone has won. And get this, he gives him 2 very specific, very ancient titles: the Lion of the tribe of Judah and the Root of David. Now, these are not just cool-sounding nicknames. They are clues to his identity that go all the way back to the beginning of the story.
Okay, so let's take that first clue and break it down. What on earth does it mean to be the Lion of the tribe of Judah? Well, this title isn't new. It's actually a direct echo of a prophecy that's thousands of years old.
To get it, we have to go all the way back to the book of Genesis. The patriarch Jacob is blessing his sons, and when he gets to Judah, he says, Judah is a lion's cub. And then he says the scepter, that staff a king holds, the symbol of royalty, will never leave Judah's family line until Shiloh, which is a title for the Messiah, shows up. So this sets the stage big time for a royal conquering king to come from this one specific tribe. And right here, you see the connection, clear as day, stretching across millennia. That promise made to Judah in Genesis that a ruler with a scepter would come from his family finds its ultimate fulfillment right here, in the title announced in Revelation. It's not a coincidence, it's a confirmation. He is the legitimate heir to that lion-like authority.
So here's the key takeaway. The lion symbol here isn't just about generic strength. In this context, it's way more specific. It's about royalty, divine authority, and the absolute power to win. This title is basically saying, this is him. This is the prophesied king from the line of Judah, the brave and mighty hero who holds the scepter.
But wait, there's more. The elder didn't stop with just one title. He gave a second one, adding a whole other layer to this king's identity, the Root of David. And this clue sends us to a totally different prophecy, but one that's just as important.
This one comes from the prophet Isaiah. He talked about a rod or a branch that would grow from the stem of Jesse. And if you remember your biblical family trees, Jesse was King David's father. So it's pretty straightforward. The prophecy is pointing to a future king who would be a direct descendant of David, coming right out of his family tree, his roots.
Okay, and this is where things get really deep, and honestly, kind of mind-bending. It's what we could call the root paradox. How can he be both the offspring of David, his descendant, and also be the root, his source, his origin? It's this beautiful contradiction that points to something massive, his dual nature. He's fully human, born right into David's bloodline, but he's also fully God, the one who planted that royal family tree in the first place. And just in case you thought this was all just interpretation, Jesus himself seals the deal. At the very end of Revelation, he says it plain as day. He claims both sides of the paradox. I am the root and the offspring of David. He is the source and the grand finale of that entire royal line. Wow. All right, so let's recap. We've got a conquering lion and a divine king from David's line. His victory seems like a sure thing. But the way he actually prevailed, well, that's the great twist in the story, and it's one nobody saw coming. I mean, when you hear lion, you think conquest by force, right? Overpowering your enemies. So when the text says he prevailed, what does that actually look like? How did this lion win the right to open that scroll? This is where the whole thing gets turned upside down. The world's model for victory is all about force, domination, and earthly power. But his victory? It was achieved through the exact opposite, through complete obedience, incredible humility, and the ultimate act of self-sacrifice. He didn't conquer by taking lives. He conquered by giving his own at the cross.
And here it is, the stunning reveal at the heart of this whole vision. John turns to see this conquering lion, and instead he sees a lamb that looks like it had been slain. The conquering hero didn't win by roaring, he won by bleeding. The lion is the lamb.
So, what does this paradox, this lion who is also a lamb, mean for his followers? Well, this victory wasn't just a solo mission. It establishes his kingdom, and it actually defines the role of his people within it. Hey, remember that elder who first announced the lion? It turns out he was one of 24 elders sitting on thrones all around the main throne. And these elders, they represent the global church, all of God's people, past, present, and future, all unified and seated in a position of authority like a royal council with the king. So why 24? That number is not random. It's deeply symbolic. It represents the perfect unification of God's people throughout all of history. You take the 12 tribes of Israel from the Old Covenant, you add the 12 apostles of the Lamb from the New Covenant, and you get 24. It's one complete, unified body. So, let's just recap all the key players in this cosmic drama. You have the lion, who is the brave and mighty hero worthy to act. You have the root, which is the confirmation that he is the fulfillment of every single promise. And then you have the elders, that's the church, who are the living testimony seated right there with him in his victory. And here's the crucial takeaway for us. The victory of the lion lamb completely redefines authority. The church isn't meant to be a spectator. We're invited to share in the power of the king. But, and this is a huge but, it's a power that's modeled on him. It's not about domination, but about sacrifice. It's an authority that serves, that heals, and that lays itself down, just like he did. And that leaves us with a really powerful question for today, doesn't it? If the church is called to represent a king who rules with the heart of a servant, then how are we supposed to actually use that authority? What does it really mean for us to live with the boldness of the lion while at the same time leading with the sacrificial love of the lamb? That's something to think about.